Relationships are mirrors, not bandages. Most people are not actually looking for love. They're looking for relief. Relief from the ache of not being seen. Relief from the fear that they're not enough. Relief from the stories that keep looping silently beneath the surface. The ones that say, "You're too much," or "You're too little," and sometimes both at once. And so we go looking, not for a partner, but for a soothing, a soft place to land, a mirror that won't reflect the things we've buried. But here is the truth. Every relationship you enter will bring you closer to yourself, or to the illusion you've been hiding behind. Because a relationship is not a reward. It's not a goal. It's not proof of your worth or validation of your healing. It's a mirror. It reflects the parts of you still seeking wholeness outside of yourself. It shows you where you collapse, where you silence yourself, where you contort to be loved. And it also shows you where you are clear, where you've reclaimed your energy, where you no longer abandon yourself for connection. But until you recognize that the reflection is the medicine, you'll keep confusing a mirror for a bandage, and love will feel like a performance instead of a return. It's easy to say, "I want a healthy relationship." But what most people mean is, "I want someone to make me feel safe." The problem is that the nervous system doesn't respond to healthy. It responds to familiar. And if familiar means inconsistency, if familiar means walking on eggshells, if familiar means caretaking someone else's emotions just to keep the peace, then even your most conscious desires will get hijacked by subconscious loyalty to the past. This is why so many women find themselves drawn to men who are emotionally distant, unavailable, or overwhelmed. Not because they're broken, but because they're running the same code they learned in childhood. This is why men often don't know how to receive real presence or tenderness. Because somewhere deep inside, they were taught that to feel is to fail. And so we fall into old roles: the healer, the anchor, the chaser, the fix. Not because we're weak, but because we're still trying to resolve something that was never our fault to begin with. But your soul didn't come here to repeat the wound. It came here to rewrite the pattern, to let the illusion fall, to remember what love actually feels like when it's not built on sacrifice. Here's the most liberating shift of all. The relationship is not the problem, it's the feedback. Every dynamic you've attracted has something to show you. If you keep calling in people who don't choose you fully, ask yourself, where am I still hesitant to choose myself? If you find yourself silencing your truth just to keep the connection, ask, what am I afraid will happen if I take up space? If you feel like you're doing all the emotional labor, ask, what story am I living out that says love must be earned? This isn't about blame. This is about returning to creative authority. Because when you stop reacting to the mirror, you begin adjusting the frequency. And frequency never lies. When you raise your internal standard, the old dynamics won't even feel magnetic anymore. Not because you're guarded, but because you've remembered what it feels like to live in alignment. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about seeing pain as a signal, a map, a messenger. And when you're willing to receive the reflection, you don't have to keep reliving the same lesson. Here's what they never tell you about healing. Some people, some connections, some entire versions of you won't survive it. And that's not failure. That's clarity. Because the more you return to your natural resonance, the more obvious it becomes who was only holding space for your unhealed self. It's okay to let it fall. Let the identity you built around being chosen fall. Let the story that said you had to earn your place fall. Let the relationship that only saw parts of you, the palatable ones, fall. What you lose in familiarity, you gain in sovereignty. And when you no longer need someone else to mirror your worth, you finally become the mirror you've been searching for. You're not giving up on love. You're just giving up on distortion. And when you do that, when you step out of the illusion, what's left is the kind of love that doesn't shake when you show up fully. Because it doesn't need you to shrink. It just meets you. Every relationship is a doorway, and every pattern is a key. You were never meant to carry someone else's emotions in order to feel safe. You were never meant to be the one who always understands, always holds space, always stays silent so the other person doesn't leave. That is not love. That is the wound masquerading as love. But now you see it. And the moment you see it, you have a choice to stay in the loop or to step into alignment. You can reclaim the rhythm of your own nervous system. You can honor your body's no. You can speak the truth without apology and trust that what's real will stay not because you performed for it, but because it matched your frequency. This is not about fixing relationships. This is about becoming so whole, so clear, so deeply in tune with your soul's truth that the only love you call in is the kind that can stand beside you in sovereignty. Let the mirrors reflect. Let the patterns break. Let the bandages fall. You're not broken. You're remembering. And that's the real love story. If this message stirred something in you, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe. It helps this truth reach those who are ready to remember. You can also visit my Patreon for a free companion guide to this video, a deeper reflection to support your journey back to resonance. You're not alone on this path. You're awakening, and you are welcome here.